Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ask a Care Manager. My name is Ryan Abremski, and I'm joined with Teresa Jackson, our Director of Care Management. The both of us work for Easy Living, a home care and care management company serving the Tri-County area, Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough counties for over 20 years. Every week, we do a weekly video series about care management and what exactly care management does, how it can help your family, clients, or yourself, and kind of ask some questions that people have about care management or different things that we kind of generally hear about. So this week, for our question, is something that, with personally myself, doing our business development and our marketing, I typically hear this question a lot from a lot of our referral sources, from a lot of our potential clients and prospects. They want to know who hires a care manager, Teresa, and generally how much does it cost? I know that's a big thing right now is cost and value, and especially with everything going right now with the pandemic and the economy, value and costs are big factors for a lot of people right now. So
Definitely.
Who hires a care manager, and, tell us about what the cost could possibly be.
Okay. So the first part of your question, who hires a care manager? So Easy Living has actually been doing care management for over 20 years, 22 years. And I myself have been doing care management for about 16 years. And I have been hired by the daughter that actually lives with dad. They bought a house together, and now dad has dementia, and the daughter has no idea how to care for dad at home anymore and what to do. I've been hired by the daughter that lives out of state that can't, she works full time, and mom is here in Florida. And she needs a liaison here. She needs eyes and ears and a voice for mom here.
Sure.
When she's not able to be here for appointments or emergencies.
And we know how hard it is to travel nowadays, or at least how
exactly.
uneasy it is to travel, I guess, being on an airplane with, people.
I've been hired by a family of 4 children, wonderful children, who just needed help in determining, could mom stay at home by herself anymore? And it turns out that after doing an assessment and finding she wasn't taking medications correctly, she was not safe to drive anymore, she was having memory loss, she wasn't able. So I have walked that family through moving into the first assisted living facility, moving into another one that best met her needs at that time, and now into a memory care community. I've been hired by the brother, again, that lives out of state, that needed to help his sister because she had no other family here.
Sure.
Attorneys. Often an attorney will find themselves being the power of attorney and healthcare surrogate for maybe a client that they've known for many, many years, and the client either doesn't have any family members. So the attorney's taking on that role of power of attorney and healthcare surrogate, or maybe it's a professional power of attorney or another professional that provides services for a client. But because the healthcare industry is not their area of expertise, they will hire a care manager to do an assessment and help guide them in making the right decisions.
So it's not uncommon for someone outside of a family, like a professional or, someone related to that patient that might be managing, some sort of aspect of their life to hire you from one professional to another.
Exactly. We've been hired by attorneys when families are fighting, when this child says mom needs this level of care and the other family member says no, they don't, and that's a very sad situation where it comes to a lawsuit, which I'm sure mom or dad or whomever would just be mortified if they knew that their children were fighting over this. But a care manager can actually come in and do an objective assessment on what mom or dad's care needs are and make those recommendations. I think one of the other, we're also hired by the elderly client themselves. So I was actually doing a quality care call the other day, Ryan, and just checking with the client to see how things were going with their care manager. And in this particular case, the care manager is Julie Scott. Julie Scott has been with our organization for 20 years as of the 1st of June. So we're very excited about that. And
yay, Julie. Congratulations.
Yay, I know.
That's awesome.
And anyway, she was telling me, the client was telling me, she said, I don't have anybody here. And when my husband died, Julie was able to not only provide that emotional support that she needed, but then help with all the paperwork that the spouse used to take care of for his wife, and she had no idea, where to even start.
Yeah.
And she said, and when she had a fall and she had to go into the hospital, then rehab before she was able to go back home. She said Julie was there. She was the one that was there with her, and she wouldn't know what she would have done during that time without Julie. So that's just an example of one of our wonderful care managers, but two, who hires us. It could be, again, a daughter from out of town, an attorney, or the client themselves.
Awesome. And then what about, what's a typical cost for something?
Okay, so again, yeah, and regardless of what's going on, that's you need to know, what charges you're looking at. So in our area, in the Tampa Bay area, it's usually $85 to $150 per hour. Okay. Our organization bills in 6-minute increments. So I know a lot of care managers have some type of policy where they bill in either 6 or 15-minute increments, 10-minute increments, whatever they choose. I know, like up in the New York area, I've seen prices as high as $250 an hour. Mm-hmm. And
it does seem, that does seem kind of like a scary number. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, but think about it. Like if you had a financial portfolio, you're going to hire a professional financial planner to help you manage that. If you're building a house, unless you're a gifted builder yourself, you're going to hire a contractor to help you build that house.
Sure.
I mean, I know even when we need plumbing work done at the house, I do not let my husband do that. I say we need to hire a professional plumber. Yeah. So
you're paying in the front side to save, potentially in the long run is what.
Oh my gosh,
I think is what to grasp the concept there, I think, right?
Oh, definitely, because I mean, and we have come in during the situation, and we hear it too often. Oh my gosh, I just wish I would have known that you were here before we moved, mom or dad into maybe an assisted living community or facility that wasn't appropriate. So now they're having to move again. Not only is that expensive, it's traumatic for the client, the individual themselves, having to go through that process. So we're able to help identify options that are going to be the best option for that situation. So again, you can come into town and it could take you 2 weeks being off work to try to figure out what's the best option for mom or dad, whereas a care manager, can maybe spend 2 hours trying to identify some options for the best, whatever the situation is.
And that's, think about that. That's 2 weeks potentially off of work, and that's possibly travel time, hotel, car rental. This is like a worst case person out of town, living out of state scenario. But, what all you would spend on all of that, you have potentially hours of care management for that cost that would have been, with all that travel time.
Exactly. And again, going back to you're hiring a professional to help you manage and figure out what's the best options for you.
And obviously with, you already mentioned it between you and Julie, just between you and Julie alone, that's not even all of our care managers.
Correct.
You guys have 35 years of experience. I mean,
yes, plus,
that's, that's right there. That's just two of you guys on how much experience and your backgrounds and what you're bringing in. And you guys have pretty much, from the meetings we've had and the stories I've heard, you guys have seen just about everything and anything. So,
our client, the client I called the other day, she said, Julie knows everything. And I'm like, you know what? She probably does. And if she doesn't, she's going to figure it out. And that's what a care manager does. They figure it out.
Exactly.
So,
Awesome.
and, I used to think and you'll often hear that a care manager brings peace of mind. Well, it is so much more than that. They actually bring an action plan to the table to help the family do what needs to be done instead of having to wait until there's a crisis, because that's what happens too often. They'll wait till there's a crisis, and then they're forced to make a decision. So if you bring a care manager in prior to that crisis, we can help put that plan together and hopefully prevent the crisis, but help get things done to help meet the needs of the client.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Teresa. That really that it really explains it. I think people don't realize who definitely could hire a care manager, and the value that you guys are bringing with that cost. It's like I said, you spend a little bit at the front side to potentially save a lot more on the back end and have a good plan in place. So again,
well, thank you
so
for
much.
asking the tough questions.
Yes. Hey, I like to. We can't give them all softball questions, So. Well, thank you so much, Teresa, for joining. I appreciate it as always, and thank you, everyone, for joining. If you would like to ask any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Send us a message on Facebook. You can also go on to our website, www.easylivingfl.com. You can submit a form onto that website, and we'd love to hear your questions. Please join us every week. We release the videos every Friday, and we look forward to seeing everyone next week. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much, Teresa.
Bye.